In the shadowy realms of time's forgotten cradle lies a story that defies simple explanation, the story of the Anunnaki. These celestial figures, their names etched into the world's oldest clay tablets, were revered by the Sumerians as those who came from the heavens. But who were they? Gods of myth? Projections of human imagination? Or something else entirely? The clay tablets of Mesopotamia, painstakingly uncovered and translated, offer tantalizing glimpses into their legacy. The Anunnaki were described as divine architects, shaping not only the cosmos but the very fabric of human existence. They formed councils, debated the fates of kings, and were believed to have played a direct role in the creation of mankind, and yet these are not just fanciful stories. The Sumerians recorded their myths with the precision of historians, weaving them into their understanding of law, governance, and science. They didn't just claim to possess knowledge, they insisted it was gifted. They wrote of a time when the heavens met the earth and the Anunnaki stood as the bridge between the two. But here's the question. Were these stories a poetic attempt to explain the mysteries of existence, or could they be echoes of an ancient truth? As we step deeper into their world, one thing becomes clear. The Anunnaki are not merely a part of history. They are a question mark etched into the human story, daring us to look closer. The Sumerians, a civilization born over 5,000 years ago, achieved feats that still leave us in awe. They gazed at the heavens with the eyes of scientists, charting constellations, tracking planetary movements, and recording lunar cycles with astonishing precision. For instance, they identified Jupiter as a wandering star, and their calculations of Venus's orbit align remarkably with modern data. How could a civilization so ancient know so much? Then there's their mathematics. Built not on the base 10 system we use today, but on a base 60 system. Why 60? Was it chosen for its divisibility, its celestial significance, or something else entirely? This system, far from arbitrary, underpins how we measure time itself. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. Every clock ticking today is an echo of their genius. And their architecture, those towering ziggurats, was no less extraordinary. These structures weren't merely temples, they were observatories. Aligned with celestial events like the solstices and equinoxes, they served as both spiritual and scientific tools, connecting the heavens and the earth in ways we're only beginning to understand. The Sumerians claimed that this knowledge was not their own invention but a gift from their gods, the Anunnaki. And here lies the enigma. Were they attributing their ingenuity to divine inspiration? Or was there something more? It's tempting to dismiss these stories as mere myth, yet the precision of their achievements forces us to pause. Could it all really have been coincidence? Or were the Sumerians privy to knowledge that transcended their time? Millennia later, a man named Zecharia Sitchin looked at these ancient texts and saw something extraordinary. To most, the Anunnaki were mythical beings, but to Sitchin they were evidence of an otherworldly reality. He proposed that these gods were not gods at all, but extraterrestrial visitors. At the center of his theory was Nibiru, a supposed 12th planet in our solar system. Sitchin claimed that Nibiru's elliptical orbit brought it close to Earth every 3,600 years, and from this distant world the Anunnaki descended. According to Sitchin, they didn't come for exploration or conquest, they came for survival. He believed they needed gold, not for wealth, but to repair their planet's atmosphere, and they turned to Earth for its abundant supply. But his most controversial claim lies in human origins. Sitchin theorized that the Anunnaki genetically engineered Homo sapiens, combining their DNA with that of Earth's primitive hominids. Humanity, he said, was created as a labor force tasked with mining gold for their celestial benefactors. Critics, however, are quick to challenge Sitchin's ideas. They argue that his interpretations of Sumerian texts often diverge wildly from accepted translations. For example, the term Nibiru, which Sitchin identified as a planet, is understood by mainstream scholars to mean a celestial crossing or a star. And while the gold mining hypothesis is intriguing, it lacks archaeological support. Yet Sitchin's work endures because it taps into something deeper, a sense of wonder, a willingness to question the boundaries of what we know. Could his theories be entirely wrong? perhaps, but could they also point to a truth we've yet to uncover? That's the beauty of his legacy. It invites us to explore the possibilities. Across the vast expanse of time and space, stories of gods descending from the heavens resonate in the myths of ancient civilizations. The Sumerians had the Anunnaki, celestial beings who shaped their world, but they were not alone in these tales. In Egypt, the gods walked the earth, bringing order and knowledge. Thoth, the god of wisdom, was said to have gifted writing and astronomy to humanity. In Mesoamerica, the feathered serpent Kukulkan shared the secrets of agriculture and the stars. In Hindu texts, the Devas and Asuras clashed in celestial battles, wielding weapons and technologies that feel almost otherworldly. These parallels are more than coincidence. They are echoes, recurring themes in humanity's oldest stories. But how could civilizations separated by oceans and millennia craft such similar narratives? Was it a shared human instinct to explain the mysteries of life and creation? Or could there have been a shared experience, a moment in ancient history that left its imprint on the collective memory of humankind? Critics of the ancient alien hypothesis argue for convergent thinking. The idea that societies, no matter how distant, tend to develop similar myths when faced with similar questions. But even this explanation leaves us wondering. Why do so many of these stories point to the heavens? Why do they so often involve beings who teach, who guide, who bring knowledge humanity could not otherwise possess? What if these myths are fragments of a forgotten truth? If the Anunnaki were real, they were not just gods of one civilization, but part of a broader narrative that spanned continents and cultures. Myths, after all, are not just stories. They are maps, guiding us to deeper meanings, and perhaps in this case, to a shared origin we're only beginning to uncover. Humanity is no stranger to brilliance, but the achievements of the Sumerians often defy our expectations. How did a civilization emerging from the cradle of Mesopotamia over 5,000 years ago master concepts that would shape the modern world? Their knowledge of astronomy wasn't just observational, it was precise. They identified Jupiter, tracked Venus with accuracy, and recorded eclipses. Their calculations for the length of a year were so precise that they remain a testament to their ingenuity. Their mathematics, too, stand apart. The base 60 system they devised wasn't arbitrary, it was a tool of extraordinary utility, allowing for complex calculations and laying the foundation for the geometry we use today. But why base 60? Was it chosen for its mathematical versatility, or did it reflect something deeper, an alignment with the celestial order they so revered? Then there are the ziggurats, those towering monuments to faith and knowledge. Positioned with meticulous care, they served as both temples and astronomical observatories. Alignments with solstices and equinoxes suggest a purpose beyond religion, a bridge between heaven and earth, science and spirituality. Mainstream scholars explain these accomplishments as the result of human observation and experimentation, and yet the question persists: how did they advance so quickly? The Sumerians themselves claimed their knowledge was given to them, bestowed by the Anunnaki. Was this simply a poetic metaphor, or could it point to a forgotten chapter of human history? A time when humanity learned not through trial and error, but through guidance. Every ziggurat, every cuneiform tablet, every precise calculation invites us to ponder, was this knowledge truly of human origin? Or did the Sumerians have help, as they so fervently believed? The answer remains elusive, but the question is a doorway, a chance to reimagine what we know about our past. No story captures the imagination without attracting its critics, and the narrative of the Anunnaki has sparked fierce debate. Scholars have dissected the Sumerian texts, challenging interpretations that lean toward extraterrestrial explanations. They argue that the Anunnaki were not beings from the stars, but gods, imagined by a brilliant civilization grappling with the mysteries of existence. Zecharia Sitchin, whose theories brought the Anunnaki to modern attention, remains a polarizing figure. His translations of cuneiform texts, while compelling to many, often diverge significantly from accepted scholarship. Take his interpretation of Nibiru, for example. Sitchin described it as a distant planet with a 3,600-year orbit, but traditional translations suggest it referred to a crossing point, perhaps a celestial event or alignment. The idea that humans were created as a labor force to mine gold for the Anunnaki is equally contentious. Archaeologists have found no evidence in the Sumerian record to support this claim. Instead, they argue the Sumerian myths were allegorical, their gods symbolic representations of natural forces and societal ideals. And yet skepticism does not diminish the allure of the Anunnaki. If anything, it sharpens it. Myths are not confined to literal interpretations. They are vessels of meaning, carrying truths that transcend the need for factual validation. Could the Anunnaki have been inspired by something real, something beyond the grasp of modern understanding, or are they a reflection of humanity's deepest longing for connection to the cosmos? Debunking the myth does not strip it of its power. Instead, it reminds us of its purpose: to challenge, to inspire, and to provoke thought. The story of the Anunnaki endures not because it is proven, but because it dares us to imagine a history greater than ourselves. The story of the Anunnaki is a thread woven into the vast tapestry of human history, a thread that refuses to unravel despite the passage of time and the scrutiny of skeptics. Whether you believe they were gods, extraterrestrial visitors, or the creations of an advanced imagination, their legacy speaks to something deeper: humanity's relentless drive to seek meaning in the unknown. The Sumerians, those remarkable pioneers of civilization, claimed that their knowledge was gifted to them, a divine spark that ignited their profound understanding of the cosmos, mathematics, and governance. Perhaps they were attributing their brilliance to the heavens out of humility, or perhaps they were preserving a memory of something extraordinary. Either way, their stories remind us of the awe and wonder that drive human progress. What makes the Anunnaki enduring isn't just the allure of celestial beings or the intrigue of speculative theories. It's the questions they leave in their wake. Myths like theirs challenge us to confront the limits of our knowledge and to entertain possibilities that lie just beyond the horizon of understanding. Could the Anunnaki represent a forgotten chapter in human history, or are they reflections of our deepest aspirations to connect with something greater than ourselves? As we gaze back at the clay tablets of Sumer, we see more than just records of an ancient people. We see a mirror reflecting our own endless curiosity. Myths, after all, are not confined to the past. They are living stories, evolving as we uncover new truths and reinterpret old ones. The Anunnaki, whether real or imagined, have left us with a gift: the courage to question, the wonder to dream, and the humility to acknowledge how much we have yet to learn. As we close this chapter, one question remains: what if the answers are not in dismissing these stories, but in understanding the truth they were trying to tell? Because the greatest stories, like the Anunnaki, don't end, they inspire.